from Wales, and I don't know London very well.
Super.
It's a map of London.
Hello, Mr. Danter. I'm Lieutenant Coletti.
Oh, at last! Chief Inspector Twining said...
Oh.
Surprise, surprise, right? If you don't want to end up like the two agents down below, you better follow me to the airport and give me the contents of the safety deposit box.
Hey, mate! Let's talk about this, okay? There's no need for you to point that thing at me. Personally, I don't give a damn either about this safe deposit box or whatever's going on.
Lucky you. That means you'll soon forget about all this.
Don't move, Coletti. I should have known a bastard like you would do something like this.
Miss McKendall, what an honor.
Right. Now that we've all introduced ourselves, can I put my hands down?
Shut up!
Shut up!
Now, Coletti, put your gun down. The American's coming with me.
Cat. You and your father never give up, do you? The American can go with you now, but don't think this is the end of it.
Ježíš.
Hi, I'm Katrin McKendall. I'm the daughter of one of your Uncle Frank's old friends. I was here to see if I could find out anything about his murderer. When I saw the two dead policemen downstairs, and I heard Coletti's voice, you know the rest.
Cat's whiskers. But is he really a police officer? Is he really a police officer?
He certainly is, and he's also a high-ranking one. The only people who know that Coletti's the spy are me, you, my father, and a few trusted friends.
You mean it was Coletti who sold the names of the Vatican Secret Service agents?
Yes. In fact, he indirectly killed your uncle. But don't waste your time dirtying your hands with someone like him. Help me instead, please. I'm looking for a clue. Something that might help us guess what Frank had discovered.
But the crime scene investigators already went over every inch of this place with a fine-tooth comb. What chance have we got of finding anything?
I knew Frank better than anyone. During a case as important as this, he'd never have left evidence on his desk. And anyway, the crime scene squad is mostly made up of undergraduates who've joined just because they enjoy the TV series. Frank was one of us. He knew how to hide things from inexperienced eyes.
A case as important as this? One of us? You're talking as if you really know something about all of this.
Joe, your uncle was a member of the Legacy, and my father's the grand treasurer of the same association. The Legacy works with the Vatican to safeguard its members from attacks like the ones that have just happened. Although there are a few men of strength like your uncle who are members, the Legacy is mostly made up of historians, cryptographers, scientists, and researchers of ancient arts like alchemy, or men with a profound knowledge of esotericism.
Ah, ghosts, werewolves, and witches. No thanks. I've already had more than enough to do with them.
Nothing of the sort. The Legacy only operates in the field of science, even though the initial premise on which the research is based is often taken from folk tales or legends. The mission of the Legacy is to protect the secrets of the Vatican, while at the same time unmasking untrue beliefs.
So who exactly are you then? Are you trying to find the Philosopher's Stone?
Although I'm highly qualified in this field, I'm actually only a renovator, with an excellent knowledge of ancient languages. Well, if you think that's so funny, let me remind you, I've got a gun.
Okay. Just let me get in touch with Twinings and tell him what's going on.
You don't still trust the police, do you? For all we know, Twinings might already have heard all about this, and even be in on it.
You're right. I'd better listen to you or else I'll be in a trap. I'm sure I'll regret having asked this later, but what are we going to do now?
I'll check the garage. You have a look round here, and don't be taken in by appearances, as the associates of the Legacy are always using symbols. Their favorite hobbies are ancient puzzles and enigmas, so even if you think you've checked a place thoroughly, have a look again. I'm off now. See you later.
Fine, but what are we looking for?
Anything. Frank would never have left us without anything. It's one of the rules of the Legacy. Never leave dead ends for the other members. If we look carefully, I know we'll find something. You do want to find out why your uncle was killed, don't you?
To tell you the truth, what I'm really interested in is going home and getting a good night's sleep. If I'm lucky enough, I might even get back in time for my interview.
What kind of pathetic journalist are you? You're up to your eyes in a case involving Scotland Yard, the CIA, and the Vatican Secret Service, and you want to give it up, along with the chance of winning the Pulitzer Prize?
I knew I should have listened to Warren when he told me to carry on making documentaries for the Ancient Channel and Channel Earth. Ancient old mummies and monkeys picking fleas from one another never hurt anyone.
You're quite right about the monkeys, but I'm not so sure about mummies. Tell me something. How come your eyes are two different colors? Were you that frightened when the gun was pointed at you?
Ha ha ha. Very funny. What was that then? A touch of English wit? Maybe I've been living too long in the States and have lost my sense of humor.
Okay, we'll get back to you some other time. Come on, let's hurry up.
It's Uncle Frank's private investigator's license. Uncle Frank spent hours and hours listening to old songs on this gramophone when he lived in his old house. I don't think it'd be wise.
The blue skis that we used to play a joke on Damien. Wow, I thought that in central London, all houses had new fuse boxes. No. It's incredible. Even the cupboard in Frank's garage are neat and tidy. When I was a child, Grandpa always told me not to touch everything I saw. Looks like young Larry's still continuing with his works of art.
Frank had one of these in his old house, but I'm not sure. It seems broken. It stopped at 10:10. I remember when I was little and I used to ask, Uncle Frank, why is your grandfather clock always at 5:55? Strangely, Frank never wanted to repair this clock. Why would he do something like that?
Na ty baterky, ty vole. Já jsem říkal, co to mělo. No, tak...
I remember music cradling me like a lullaby on those nights when I slept at my uncle's old house. Mozart, one of my uncle's favorites. I remember music cradling me like a lullaby on those nights when I slept at my uncle's old house. I don't think it'd be wise. Mozart, I remember those nights. Wait a sec. There's something hidden behind there. And what's this? I've never seen a fishing trophy like this. It seems ancient. Maybe I'd better not leave it where anybody could find it. A mysterious device. It looks ancient. Uncle Frank really was a unique man. I actually never knew if Uncle Frank was religious or not. I wonder if it still works, or if Uncle Frank kept it here just for decoration. Empty. The crime scene investigators have already been here. Completely empty. I bet my soul they're as new as when they were bought. I guess Uncle Frank's cooking never improved. A sink and a mirror. No water. It must have been cut off. It's a toilet. A shower. But Uncle Frank hated showers. He always said that he wouldn't exchange his old bathtub even for a shower made of gold. Now that's strange. Those books are all messed up. 6, 9, 1, 10, 3.
6, 9, 1, 10, 3. 6, 9, 1, 10, 3. Голос.
Maybe if I try with this. Or I could try with that. No, sorry, I can't do it. There's a mechanism with 5 Roman numerals, just like the 5 books on Frank's bookcase.
6, 10, 6.
This way I can select the numerals. That's strange.
6, 9, 1, 10, 3. 6, 9, 1, 10, 3. 6, 9. 6, 9, 10, 3. 6, 9, 1.
There's a mechanism with 5.
6.
This way I can select the numerals.
9, 1.
I don't think they work together. There's a mechanism with 5 Roman numerals. This way I can select the numerals.
6, 9, 1, 10, 3, 1.
That's strange. Those 69110
6, 9, 1, 10, 3. To dělám dobře. Jaj.
There's a mechanism with...
6, 9,
This way I can select the numerals.
1.
Let's hope he doesn't wake up for a couple of hours. Uncle Frank spent hours and hours listening to old songs on this... Where in the world could you find a Scottish tartan couch if not in Uncle Frank? Strange, though. Uncle Frank didn't like technology very much. Must be broken. This is why he bought that new laptop. I'd forgotten how beautiful London, I must admit. Now that's strange.
To jest 6, 9, 1, 10, 3.
69110 Sorry, I forgot my Swiss pocket knife at home. There's a mechanism. This way I can select the numerals. Six, 9, 1, 10, 3. Aha! It opened. It looks so ancient, I'm nearly afraid to touch it.
It's incredible. Even the cupboard in Frank's garage are neat and tidy.
Wiem.
Wow, I thought that in central London, all houses had the blue skis that we used to... Looks like young Larry's still continuing. Next time I see him, I'll tell him what I think. Next time I see him... was a child, Grandpa always told me not to touch everything I saw. Bits and bobs, nothing important. A box full of old newspapers and other useless things. What's that flicker? Oh, there's some keys. If I remember well, these are the keys for Frank's as long as it doesn't fall to pieces. These are the keys of Frank's roaring motorbike.
Do these mean anything to you?
Well, they're symbols, perhaps from an ancient language, but they're not Latin or Greek, and they certainly don't seem to be Asian.
You're not telling me you can speak those ancient languages.
I can't speak them, but I can translate them. Come on, let's get out of here. I've found the keys to your uncle's motorbike. I'll take you to my father. He'll know how to decipher that piece of parchment.
You found the keys? But how did you get here previously?
By bus, of course. What a stupid question.
Dobrá. Lesk našich mečů. Dobrá. Hej, tak je fajn. Super napad. A vzbudil sráč jeden.
Hello, Inspector. Coletti here. I'm afraid Mr. Danter has escaped. He was helped by Catherine McKendall and regretfully lost two men. Yes, he shot them in cold blood, sir. Of course, I'll have an identity kit made and sent out to all the stations. Sure, sir. It'll be the first thing I'll do as soon as I reach my office. Bastards!
Ty jsi bastard, ty. Blbečku.
Catherine, what's happened?
Coletti shot 2 agents, and I think he wants to accuse me and Jonathan.
Pleased to meet you, Jonathan. And if you're half the man your uncle was, you're well worth knowing. As Kat probably told you, Frank was a very dear friend of mine. Unfortunately, we're in the middle of a war, as you can see.
I've noticed. But why is someone getting rid of the Vatican agents? And who's covering for Coletti? Is it Twinings?
We don't have much time, as he'll be looking for you everywhere. He'll soon get here with some of his men in tow. You see, Jonathan, even though he's very dangerous, Coletti is only a small fry in this story. He's just a bent policeman who sold the names of nearly all the Vatican Secret Service agents. The trouble is that we have no idea of who he's selling the names to. Given the brutality with which these executions are being carried out, they're certainly not being done by someone sane.
Great. Now I'm wanted by the whole of Scotland Yard. I have a corrupt cop on my back. And as if that wasn't enough, I feel like I'm in an episode of The Mysteries of the Holy Grail, or something like that.
The Holy Grail's got nothing to do with this. And can't you be serious for even 10 minutes? Here you are, Dad.
Now this is interesting. It looks like an ancient numerical code. I think you should get Damien to have a look at it.
Who's this Damien? Some kind of number code expert?
Not exactly. Damien's a computer technician, but he also developed some advanced systems to break codes that we used several times during our research.
Dad, did Frank tell you what he was working on?
Just a little. He did mention something about completing research into the Imago Sanctissimus. That's a legend, you know. Not all that well known. It seems that the ancient order of the Knights Templar left a legacy for all of humanity. The answers to all questions of mankind. This was apparently recorded in the Imago Sanctissimus, and even today, we still don't know exactly what it is. Some say that when the Imago Sanctissimus is mentioned in texts, It refers to the shroud. Some think it's the Grail, and others that it's neither one nor the other.
So it's just as I thought. The Holy Grail is involved. Uncle Frank must have been close to finding it.
Your uncle was one of the most reputable members of the Vatican Secret Service. I wouldn't be surprised at all to find out that he knew where to look for the Imago Sanctissimus. Obviously, whoever killed him now knows whatever the Vatican Secret Service knew. The killers no longer want the agents under their feet. Your uncle and I became very good friends when we worked together on some special research. He'd expressly asked for scientific help from a member of my group. However, he never talked in any detail about this research apart from the principal idea he was working on. He used to say that it was to protect me, but I really think it was because Frank saw himself as a 1930s detective. He was a solitary man, and that's probably why he was so damn good at his job.
Jonathan, we'd better make a move. We've got to get to Damien's place. Although he doesn't live too far from the center of London, we have to be careful while we're traveling. Coletti will be looking for us, and his men might burst in here at any moment.
It was a real pleasure to meet you, Mr. McKendall.
The pleasure's all mine, young man. Do try to catch that rogue Coletti. The best luck to you both.
Hey, you. Oh. Dobrá.
Hi, Kat. Good to see you. Who's your friend?
This is Frank's nephew, Jonathan. Jonathan, this is Damien.
Pleased to meet you.
Já jsem
Kat, your
chtěla
father
něco
rang as you
chvíli.
were on your way here. I'm afraid the police have raided your house and your father has been
Já si
arrested.
za chvilku dám.
You're in
Počkej.
a bit of a mess, aren't you?
If Arthur phoned you, Coletti will trace the call and find you in a flash.
Don't worry, mate. I talked to Arthur through the communicator like the one I gave to all the members of the legacy. Here you are. You'd better have one too.
Jo, se ohřeju za chviličku.
Thanks.
It's a modified mini handset which can only connect you to reserved lines from screen service. I set up the system myself and it's practically impossible to trace calls to their original source. First, because the calls can't be localized, and second, because no one knows they exist. Are you happier now?
Well, well, well. Now I see why James Bond was English.
Don't take any notice of him. He's always saying stupid things. He thinks he's funny, and he just can't keep his mouth shut when he ought to.
Okay, but are you sure this thing really works?
Jonathan, don't worry. We can trust him. Damien, tell me instead, do these symbols on this parchment we found in Frank's flat mean anything to you?
Well, I'll have to do a bit of research into it. It's certainly a very ancient code. Leave it with me and I'll let you know as soon as I've worked out the meaning of these symbols. For the moment, you should better keep it down. At least until the dust has settled. Kat, why don't you take Joe to Roberts and get his documents facelifted so you can move around in secret until we uncover the truth about Coletti?
Is this Robert one of yours?
Not exactly one of ours, but he's done us a few favors in the past. We can't always get information through legal channels, so sometimes Robert gives us a hand.